Hello, this is Dr. Greg Galvin at Ferris State University, and the purpose of this video is to give a quick overview of ChatGPT and some of its uses and implications from an educator's perspective. ChatGPT is an AI tool. It was machine learning generated utility that you can use for a variety of purposes, including generating text, writing programs, getting information about various topics and so forth. With that, we'll give you a quick overview. Into ChatGPT, this is the window that you're at, and you can use this new chat area to bring up new chats. Down in this box is where you would write things. So, for example, ChatGPT can be used to generate content on a particular topic. So, write 100-word paper on Battle of the Little Bighorn. And the response will be a 100-word paper on the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Now, if you were to type this exact request in, you're not necessarily going to get the exact same answer. And you can do the regenerate response, and you may see a difference just by doing that. Okay, so you can see that the content is a little bit different. So it means that it's difficult for someone to say something came from ChatGPT by simply typing in the same terms, because you don't necessarily get the same results. It goes well beyond that. Let's say we wanted to use it for information like Google. Who was the U.S. president in 1823? And we get information about James Monroe. You can also type in for perhaps drug interactions. So grapefruit and Nurtec, which is a migraine medicine. Sometimes you have to give it a little bit more information, sometimes you don't, because I had previously typed in just grapefruit and Nurtec and gotten this type of a response, but you can maybe have to add additional sometimes. Again, the usage varies a little bit. You can use it to and we'll learn a little bit about a derivative. And it will walk through and explain how to find a derivative. You could do something like design a movie database. And it walks you through some of the steps and considerations that you may have if you're designing a database. So we can ask a little bit more information about a movie database, and it can give us information about the tables that might be part of a movie database. Sometimes when you do this, you will get actually the table design. And this shows you that the movie table would have a movie ID, a title, a release date, a director, and a runtime. It's important to note that database is an interesting subject because there's a lot of it depends types questions. So just because it gives you a design doesn't mean it's necessarily the correct design. It is a design, and depending on how the database is going to be used, you may or may not get the appropriate data structures. But it's a good start, and sometimes it gives you a very good design. Write the SQL to join a student and address table. And it'll show you different types of joins and things that can be done to satisfy that. Gives you a description of what every line in the SQL means. Sometimes it gives you inner joins, outer joins, left joins, right joins, and so forth. In this explanation, sometimes it doesn't. Again, it can vary just slightly on the order that you might type something into this. Let's try another one. And you better spell everything right too, I guess. And it's giving us driving directions on how to get from Ferris to Grand Rapids, particularly. Or we can take a bus. Pretty fascinating response. Let's try a few others. Let's generate 20 random names using a Python program. And it will write the code that you need to generate 20 random names. What it's doing is it's giving you a bunch of first names and a bunch of last names, and then it's going to randomly select a first name and a last name, put them together, and spit out the names. That's the idea behind this particular code. It's explaining some of the functions that are involved, but you can take what you are given in that response and modify it. So you could say, now sort the names in ascending order. And it'll modify the code that you were just given. So now things will come back sorted in alphabetical order, ascending order. Let's see if it'll show the output. And there's the output that might come out from the random generated names. Now, this is an example of machine learning and artificial intelligence, but you realize that it is trained data and it's not necessarily up to date. So, for example, who is the current president of Ferris State University? And you can see that this is data up through 2021. So 2022 information may not be on there. And the actual version of ChatGPT that I'm using is the December 15th, 2022 version. So it's basically lagging about a year in terms of the data. So if you were to try to find something a little bit more current, so for example, something that happened fairly recently. See, we'll tell you that it's up to 2021. So we could say in 2020, for example, well, let's go back to there we go. So you can see there's some challenges there. But this is even a little bit more impressive. So how about this? So it's given us the 100 words or so about the Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, in Spanish. How about a lesson plan for first grade math for day one? So it's basically number cards 1 to 20 and so forth, and doing counts up to 10 and so forth. Let's go out 100 days and see if this may have improved. So it's giving you a general idea on what you might have for that. And it can also generate other things in the education sense. So for example, in special ed, you have what's called an IEP. How about this? And it's an interesting result because I had tried this earlier and it generated a full IEP in a format that also had list names, locations for signatures and so forth. So again, sometimes you get a result that you're expecting, sometimes a result you're not expecting, but if you simply reword things a little bit, sometimes that changes dramatically. But anyway, that gives you an idea on the types of things you can do with ChatGPT. And again, this is only the beta. So it's only been out for a very short period of time. And you can expect that this would improve quite a bit. There is discussion about doing things like watermarking the output so that it's possible to tell if something that is turned in came from ChatGPT or not, and so forth. Interesting times coming up. Hope you found this helpful.